Hi, this is Brent from Studio One Expert, and in this third video of this free 4-part series, we're going to be taking a look at the Waves F6. I'm using the Waves F6 on this third channel because I want to use it to get rid of some conflicting information in this sort of low to low mid frequency region. And the reason for that is it's conflicting with this first track here. So if I just show you this track here, it'll give you a better understanding as to why I want to make these moves. Now, if I turn F6 off and I also play this channel on its own, you will need to be using some good headphones or studio monitors. You won't hear this on the TV, but there is some low-end rumble and it's starting to conflict with this track. Combine that with all of the massive tracks in this session and you start to get some really nasty masking issues in the low end there. So if we play both of them together without F6 enabled, still cuts through nicely thanks to the Abbey Road saturator, which you can check out in the previous video, but with F6 enabled, I can then get rid of some of that low-end information by using this subtractive EQ and compressing those regions, but also allowing some time for it to breathe when it's not going to conflict so much. I could also do this with the sidechain input as well, so I could actually sidechain it to the source, which is another way you could go about it, but keeping things simple, we're using the F6 here just to treat some of the low-end information around 54 and around about 85 to 90. So let's hear what it does with it enabled. Now, if you listen on good headphones, you'll hear there is a big difference there. There's a big cleanup of the low mids, and actually it lets the highs come through a little bit more because it's not working so hard in the low end information. If I bring in the final track here, this is all of our tracks together, we'll hear the F6 in better context again. So we can hear F6 is doing a great job of cleaning up that low end. So to begin with, I've got a low end roll off here, and that's just going up to about 30 because I don't want to have it losing a lot of the drive that it has, but also we don't want it to conflict and mask with the other first channel because the second channel has got a big scoop on it already. You can see that in video number 1. So after we've took out some of that and we've got a fairly tight slope, but not super tight, so we can still get a little bit of the information coming through. This is when we start to use F6 to its abilities. So I've got them here in mid mode because I don't want to be doing any of the side information. I don't want to be compressing the side information because these toms are actually going from left to right if you listen carefully. You hear there's a tom on the left there. I don't want to compress the side information any more than the center information. So what I've done is I've made sure that both of these bands are just the mid mode. So you can select that on the left side here. That's a really nice feature of this F6 plugin. So with the first cut here at 54, we've got a fairly tight Q, but there's still quite a bit that is taken down to the second Q here as well. So we're really taming that low end, and the threshold is dialed quite far down. So we're getting about 6 to 9 dB on both regions of gain reduction here for this EQ region. So if you watch the Qs dance, up here we got about 9, and the same here at parts. And I'll take them out. Especially here, there's a really horrible bad rumble, and that is what we've managed to carve out and get rid of. Now, if we were to just do this with a traditional EQ, we'd just be constantly underpinning it, but because we're using F6, we can bring that information back when it's not actually presenting any issues, and that's why something like a subtractive dynamic EQ is something you really need to have in your arsenal because it allows the information to still breathe whilst compressing the signal. But you could also use it to expand the information as well. So if there was a frequency you felt like wasn't coming out enough, you could actually do the opposite of this. But for now, I hope that you found this video useful and you understand why I've used it on this track to benefit all of these in context. And I'll see you in the next one.